So in this video, I wanted to talk about the colorism of NXT. A friend of mine, a mutual of mine named Ova the Donis, has been kind of talking about this topic himself. So I said, you know what, I kind of want to talk about it myself because why not? I usually talk about colorism anyway when it comes to wrestling, so this should be nothing new. But instead, I'm going to talk about NXT specifically, and I'm going to explain how it's just been colorism has been in effect in NXT in the women's division and just NXT period since the jump. So with NXT, I'm gonna make as you can see, this says part 1 and there's gonna be a part 2. So this is gonna be about the women's division, and then I'm gonna do one about the men's division. So with the women's division, colorism has always been in high effect. For example, we have only 2 black NXT women's champions out of all the NXT women's champions in history. And out of the 2 black women's champions that we have, the black women's champions are Sasha Banks and Ember Moon, now known as Athena. And so when Ember Moon was NXT women's champion, she had a more transitional like championship run, while Sasha had a more larger than life run, if that makes sense. Like, her reign was better booked, her matches had more thought put into it, her feuds had more thought put into it, etc. Now, some people might say, well, this is a lot of people's, opinions in terms of the booking. Sasha offered more than Ember. Sasha was worth more than Ember. Sasha was a bigger star than Ember. But my thing is, I feel like even though Sasha was more popular and, her run was in a different, era of NXT, I still feel like Ember could have had maybe, I won't say as good of a run because, I understand, like, Sasha had, like, the character to add to it, and Ember's character wasn't really as, like, appealing. I don't want to say appealing, it sounds mean, but I can't really think of another way to word it. But it wasn't as larger than life as the boss character was, if that makes sense. But despite that, NXT Black and Gold was always more focused on wrestling, and Ember Moon and Sasha Banks are 2 phenomenal wrestlers, and Ember Moon can put up some good matches just like Sasha Banks. Ember Moon can put up great matches just like Sasha Banks. So why not have her have a championship run with more thought put into it? You know what I'm saying? Like, Ember Moon could have been a breakout star in NXT by breaking Asuka's streak and winning the NXT Women's Championship right then and there. That could have been a huge moment for her and representation for black people, period. And not only black people, but Ember Moon is dark. Is it dark? Is Ember dark skin or brown skin? I think she's brown. I think she's brown skin. I think. I think Ember's brown skin. But she's brown. I think. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, please correct me because I don't want to sound ridiculous. But Ember, she doesn't benefit from colorism the way Sasha does because Sasha Banks is a biracial mixed light skinned woman, and so Sasha having colorism not affect her, that was able for her to be booked better. But Ember Moon, just despite being able to put up good matches and great matches just like Sasha, the colorism I feel like affected her booking because she was not booked as well as Sasha was as NXT Women's Champion, nor was not I don't feel like taken as serious as Sasha was when it came to being NXT Women's Champion. Another example, we're gonna look at the current landscape of the NXT women's division. Soruka, if you guys don't know, she's biracial, and this broke the internet on wrestling Instagram because everybody thought she was white. I thought she was white when I first saw her, and I was like, okay, she's cool. She's an athletic white girl. She seems cool. I like the little surfer gimmick she got going on. And then I found out she was biracial. So at first, I thought I don't want to sound disrespectful, but I thought that she was lying because a lot of white people will say that they are mixed, and they will be mixed, but they're not mixed with black. Or they'll just be like, oh, I'm half black, like Soruka is. But they're not half black at all. If they're mixed with black, it's like literally like 2%. Like, do y'all know that meme where it's like, I am 2% Nigerian, I am a sister? That's how a lot of white people are. And so that's what I thought. Like, I'm not trying to sound mean or trying to be like edgy or cool or different, disrespectful. But I honestly was just like, it's hard for me to believe that because when you look at Soruka, you don't really see a lot of African American like features, so you would think that she's a white girl, and that's what a lot of people thought. And so she had to confirm it on her Instagram, like, yes, I am half black. My dad is black, my mother is white, so that makes me biracial. That makes me half and half. That makes me mixed. So it's like, okay, like she's confirmed it. So you know, she's telling the truth. And NXT even posted her on the, you know, NXT Black History Month. So I was like, okay, this can't be a lie. Because, like, why would they, you know what I mean? Because, like, if they're gonna, let's say Soruka was lying about being black, then they would have to put Mandy Rose on an NXT Black History Month because of the way she was tanning. Y'all, you get my point? You guys get my drift? And so that's you know, that's how that all happened. But anyway, Soruka, she's not the only black woman. There's, who else? Jakara Jackson, Lash Legend. It was Kaden Carter, but she's on the main roster now. But there is another black woman, Mari Miller, but she's injured, and Kiana James. Now Kiana James is like Soruka. She's also biracial, but Kiana has more of a tan to her, so you would probably like, oh, okay, like, you know, it would be a little bit more, you know, a little more prominent to be like she's biracial or mixed. It would make, you know, more sense because like her African American features are more, you can see them more compared to Soruka. But despite that, you know, neither here nor there, Soruka and Kiana James, you know, with them being black women and representation for black women, they benefit from colorism because they are mixed, right? Now, despite them being, you know, despite them being mixed and benefiting from colorism, that allows them to become more featured on NXT and more booked better. I'm just gonna say it, booked better. I was trying to find another way to say it, but I can't. I have to say it bluntly. Booked better than Lash and Jakara. Now, you guys are probably like, what are you talking about? Let me explain. Lash Legend, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe out of all the black women that I just listed, aside from Kaden, Lash was it might have been Amari. It might have been Amari who came first, but Amari and Lash, they were the first two to come out of the 5 black women that I had just listed. Well, minus Kaden, but the 5 black girls I listed, Lash and Amari came first, right? To the NXT division, right? Lash Legend, now Amari, we're going to talk about her later. But Lash, I want to specifically talk about her because Lash, like, you could tell, like, she had it all. She had the charisma, the mic skill, the star power energy. Like, you could tell, like, oh, she's meant to be a star. And she was unique because she had a gimmick where she was, like, a talk show host like Wendy Williams. And no black woman, well, there might have been a black person who has done it, but no black woman has done that, like, in WWE or NXT, whatever. So for her to do that, it's just like, okay, breaking boundaries, making history, and it was entertaining. Last year got with Lash Legend, it was very entertaining. And so, you know, she had that, and then she entered a feud with Nikita Lyons. And she had her debut match against Amari Miller. And she debuted her finisher again on her debut match. It was a very great finisher. I loved it. And then the match with Nikita Lyons, or the match is, she showed massive improvement compared to, you know, her beginner matches. And so everybody was like, okay, even though she lost a feud with Nikita, when Lash gonna get booked again? When we gonna see her again? Well, after the feud with Nikita Lyons, Lash Legend went on a bit of a losing streak. And I talked about this in another video that I did about why she deserves better. And she was on this losing streak for God knows what. And everything that made her, like, stand out and radiate as Lash Legend slowly started to get taken away from her. Her moveset became more restricted. Lashing out with Lash Legend went, like, it disappeared. Like, it was gone. And she started becoming more involved with the men's storylines than the women's division. And to the point where she was a manager for Pretty Deadly, I believe. So it was like, okay. And then with Jakara Jackson, it's like, she took, like, forever to debut. I'm not blaming her. I'm blaming booking because she got signed, like, a long time ago. And I was like, well, when is she gonna come? And correct me if, no, I don't think Soruka debuted before her. But either way, Soul gets booked better than Jakara. And Jakara, I believe, got signed before Soruka did. So it's just like, you would think, you know, Jakara would be more established in the women's division compared to Soruka. But it seems like, you know, with Soruka, she just kind of came in and was like, all right, Soul, show us what you can do. And, you know, while Jakara is just kind of sitting there like, I'm like, hello, I'm sitting here on the bench, like, right here, like, you know, can I do something? You know what I'm saying? Like, why is it that the biracial women, the mixed black women, get to become more showcased and more booked compared to the dark-skinned and brown-skinned black women? Colorism. like right there. I'll give you guys one more example. Lash Legend had like everything to be a star. She still does, but you know, it's just been taken away from her. Despite all that, Kiana James, which I love Kiana, I feel like Kiana has a lot of potential. But I don't really agree with the fact that Kiana and Fallon became tag team champions because it was random. I don't want to say undeserved because I do think, you know, they deserve to be champions, but I just feel like they won the titles too soon. And I feel like they beat the wrong people for the championships. And it doesn't really sit right with me that, like, Kiana got a title before Lash because, you know, I'm not, I know we shouldn't compare black women, and I'm not trying to compare black women by any means. I'm just saying, you know, like, how I feel bluntly. I'm not trying to compare, put one down, uplift the other. But respectfully, I feel like Lash Legend could be a more utilized talent and offers just a little bit more compared to Kiana. But because Lash has been restricted, they push Kiana and utilize her more as diversity, like quote unquote diversity purposes. And not saying Kiana isn't, you know, representing like black people in terms of diversity, but I don't think you can represent black people with just one shade of black. You can't just have every like different shades of black women and you only push one shade of black women because that's weird and disrespectful, because you have dark-skinned women, dark-skinned young girls, dark-skinned young boys who are brown-skinned brown-skinned little boys, brown-skinned little girls, brown-skinned women, brown-skinned men who want to come to like wrestle. And not to say they won't be able to connect with the likes of Soruka and Kiana James despite them being mixed, because maybe they will, like, you know, because they're black and like representation. But I've said this once and I'm gonna say it again. I personally believe that dark-skinned boys and dark-skinned girls, whether they be young or elderly, will connect better with dark-skinned talent, whether it's in music, wrestling, or sports, because of how colorism affects dark-skinned and brown-skinned. Do brown-skinned people benefit from color? I don't think they do. You know what? Anyway, like, dark-skinned fans would connect more with dark-skinned talent because of the hardships of colorism. And so it's like they see themselves in them more compared to biracial or mixed talent. Which is why, like, a lot of black fans were rooting for Naomi to get pushed during the Naomi Deserves Better era in 2020. Because not to say Sasha and, you know, and Bianca can't represent black people. They can. But it's just like, Naomi being utilized and pushed is kind of a way of saying, like, if she can do it, so can I, because she's the exact same shade as me. Does that make sense? I think that's really all I have to say. All I'm gonna say is I really hope that, you know, all black women can just be utilized without colorism, but that's never gonna happen because NXT is ran by old white men. So, yay, love that. But hopefully Lash and Jakara get utilized more. Hopefully Soruka and Kiana James get utilized. But I just wish that there wasn't colorism dividing them up in terms of booking, because it's just weird, and I don't like, I just find colorism so stupid and so ignorant and so idiotic. I just don't, I find racism and stupid too, but colorism especially, because it's just like we all black, like just push us. Like, I can offer something, she can offer something, she can, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not hard, but white people will be white people. But anyway, y'all, that's my video. Hopefully you guys liked it. Comment, share, subscribe, and tell me what you guys think in the comments. Yeah. If there was something that you feel like was like disrespectful, because I'm not dark skinned, I'm actually light skinned. So if you felt like, oh, like, for future reference, like, you know, if you felt like something was like, you know, disrespectful or just kind of said a little weird, please let me know, because I wasn't trying to be disrespectful at all. But, you know, I don't want to say something and it just comes off as weird. So just let me know. But anyway, thank you guys. Love you guys. And have a great rest of your day.